Jenkins No.1 in Tallarook State Forest, the only way you're going to get up is if you're running in head first, screaming.
Oh my God, he just ran in.
We very quickly found ourselves in utter carnage.
God damn it, Leeroy.
There were rocks flying everywhere, there was grease, there was mud. Normally, I would say, of all the cars, only Leeroy was the one that was able to make it up in one go. Not even he could do that.
Leeroy, you were just stupid as hell.
The diff lock was locking and unlocking by itself.
I've never seen Simon so serious because he thought that he was about to lose a carload full of cameramen.
James, have you ever had to recover a wagon with a camper trailer on the back of it?
No, it's the first time for everything. Effectively, we are Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan. I gotta do everything.
Hi guys, I'm Simon Christie and today we're exploring tracks around Tallarook State Forest. It's been a little bit wet, it's going to be a little bit slippery. We've got some awesome tracks to explore with a couple of mates that we've brought along the way. So join me today for an exciting adventure on Life Off-Road.
Guys, I have no idea who this bozo is, but he's right. We've got a big day ahead of us, so let's hit the tracks and find out how we got ourselves into Tallarook State Forest. Today we are just north of Melbourne, hitting the tracks of Tallarook for a little bit of fun. We've got new tracks on board, we've got Tough Dog suspension, road safe, and we've got Narva.
The trip in, absolutely amazing. The sun was sort of still rising, coming punching through the trees there. Awesome scenery the whole way along. Definitely was a good little intro into the track.
James, we've got a big day planned. The new tracks is running perfectly, assisting us in where we're going.
Yeah, we got the app up and running, so we're heading in to Tallarook State Forest today. The platform's been able to assess a lot of the tracks around this area from all the users that have been logging trips around here. This is a local favourite in this area.
How do you actually log the difficulty of a track?
You log your journey in-app. Prior to doing that, you need to complete a vehicle profile in the app, and then the platform will analyse the GPS trace that is then synced to the platform after you finish logging your journey. And based on your performance and other information, it'll determine trail assessment, difficulty rating, and it'll also call out where all the significant obstacles are, all automatically without any input from the user at all.
Morning, Peter. Great to have you back for another adventure.
Magnificent day again. Looks like it's going to be an absolute one out of the box.
How good was that breakfast?
That was beautiful. I had the bacon and cheese pie, which was just magnificent.
They are known for doing a good breakfast there. And I had just a bit of a coffee, no sugar because I'm sweet enough.
Little country bakery, Kemp's, absolutely awesome service, really friendly people working there.
There we go, darling.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
Awesome.
And great food, you couldn't ask for more from a nice little town bakery.
Out of this world, spectacular, really nice.
Welcome to Kemp's Bakery at Wongdong. Kemp's Bakery's been here for about 18 years. We're a great stop here between Tallarook and Mount Disappointment.
I had a cheese and bacon pie, which was awesome.
Bloody unreal.
The guys were lovely there to be able to host us for the morning.
Now, Blake, this is your first trip with 4Drive TV, so give us a bit of an introduction to Tough Dog.
Tough Dog's coming into its 38th year now. The core product of what we do is our foam cell shock absorber. We were one of the first to come to Australia with that. A lot of people don't realise that suspension's the second sort of form that contacts you to the road after the tyres. So ensuring that you've actually got suspension that will hold the weight well, gives you a bit extra clearance, a bit of height, it just changes the whole off-roading experience.
The tall trees, the blue sky, the sun shining through. I think it was lulled into a false sense of security.
So when we come off road, we always like to let our tyres down, but this is probably a touch too far. A little bit of an issue here with the valve. We've got a big climb ahead of us. We need low pressure, not quite that low. Always important to carry a good quality tyre repair kit, and most of the good ones will come with a valve kit, which has a valve removal tool and some spare valves. Unscrew the valve, just be careful because it's going to spit it out at speed. There's the valve, as you can see, is looking a little bit mangled and damaged. The new valve, fingers crossed, will do the trick. There's the new one. Slide it in, give it a screw, we'll get this pumped up, and fingers crossed, that's all she needs. ARB compressor. Now Iveco's a fairly big, heavy truck. With the conditions we're facing today, which are quite wet, I'm running 15 PSI in the front and 18 in the rear. Can't hear it leaking. By popular demand, we'll do the spit test. No bubbles. We are good to go. We'll now get it back down to 15 and get ready to hit this track.
Simon the imposter jumped in the new Track's vehicle.
Looking sharp, looking sharp.
He absolutely sent it up there.
I was a little bit intimidated, to say the least, seeing what effort it took for them to get up there. We knew we were probably up for a bit of a battle.
Front wheels were up in the air, it was bouncing around. Little did we know that that was just the start of it. Every vehicle after that really, really struggled. So to make sure that we didn't have any issues later on, Simon decided to go up second. Having a rear winch set up on the truck makes it a little bit easier to recover vehicles behind.
It just crawled up there. I was surprised in its high centre of gravity. It just rocked up there, no problems.
You call this an obstacle? There's nothing. I do this in my unicycle. I am the obstacle.
Hell, that's slippery.
I was a little bit intimidated, to say the least.
Market leaders in suspension, doing it for decades. However, they ended up struggling quite a bit.
I think it was about 5 or 6 shots, progressively getting harder and harder on it and just absolutely smashing the throttle.
Red peas. Big middle rut, kept pulling all the vehicles into it. No matter how much we stayed to one side or the other, every car just seemed to keep finding its way in there.
Almost got there, but not quite. That track, let me tell you, that was very, very slippery.
Probably gave me 4 or 5 attempts before I realised that we're probably going to need a winch. Definitely a bit of a bummer having to be winched up the first track. Hopefully for the rest of the trip there won't be any more winches, but I know Simon's there to give us a winch if I need it.
After Blake got winched up, we pulled the car off to the side of the track to make room for the next vehicle. Next up was Daniel Ricciardo, aka Pete from Road Safe, and boy did he send it. There was no lack of throttle there. I'm pretty sure that he was flat to the boards from the moment that he took off.
He was booking it up this track. I don't think he was even in low range. It was nuts.
I'd power up the track and then lose traction and go, why? Look down, the diff lock's out again. So it was locking and unlocking by itself. It caused me a little bit of grief.
Despite that effort, not for lack of enthusiasm, he wasn't able to get up the difficult section of track and he still had to get winched up.
Once Pete winched up the track, they had to make some room. Unfortunately, the only position to put his car was over this lip on the side of the track.
We get the 2 strongest guys here, we'll push it up.
Don't even accelerate. We'll just push it up, mate.
Took a little bit of time. We managed to get up there safely. Where do I start with this one? After everyone had made it nice and slippery, the old Nava rig was her shot to have a go.
I could hear Simon going, give it to it, give it to it.
Managed to get a little bit further up, but still got stuck. That just wasn't going to happen for me. In the end, we ended up just winching her up.
Give us some big flex, big flex.
That is big, what are you talking about?
Nah, James has got bigger.
I'm a little bit more huge than your boss. I don't know if you guys can handle that.
How are you feeling, Michael? I'm not feeling happy at all. I don't want to break the C7.
Simon doesn't have much faith in the camera boys, so he jumped in the Colorado 7.
There was no holding back. Let's just say that. Almost to the top.
Probably a bit too much pep in his step. Not sure if he's not used to the difference in power between the Iveco and Colorado 7, but came up flying, full of gusto.
You hear that?
What?
I haven't broken a CV yet. You know, maybe I should have done it. I'm just saying. I could do more than eat sandwiches.
There was no chance of him getting any further.
You're getting winched by yourself, Simon.
Yeah, we've got muscles up there doing the winching.
Hooked it up to the back of the Raptor, held the brakes on, we chocked the wheels a little bit.
Difficult from then on to get the camera car everywhere because driving just a two-wheel drive.
Damn, this is going to be a long day. We had to drag the Colorado winch after winch after winch up this section of track. It added hours to our day.
Here we are thinking that we've gotten past the hardest obstacle on the track, but unfortunately it wasn't. We still had a long way to go. We were roughly 10 metres into this track, but nowhere near the top.
Let's go for the next section, let's keep going.
Definitely a pretty interesting start, and we hope that the day got a bit quicker after that, but yeah, obstacles were still to come.
The hills just seemed to keep going. We were just going up and up and up and up. It was a massive climb.
It was more slippery, the track was a little bit wetter, there was more clay on the track as well. Simon took off up the hill after the guys from New Tracks. They both got up, no problems. Blake from Tough Dog, he went up.
Pretty rocky, pretty hilly, but I was able to keep a fair bit of a momentum.
A lot steeper than what I thought it was, guys.
Blake and I got up the top, we looked at the time, thought it's probably about lunch o'clock.
Smashed a couple of ham rolls from a nice little town bakery, Kemp's Bakery, while all the hard work was being done.
The camera car got stuck, so Simon ended up going back down to do some recoveries.
Someone's called for a real man, so I'm going to help out. Where are we going anyway? Who needs the winch?
The Colorado 7.
I was driving, so I mean, I wouldn't say that it was a failure on my part. I did everything perfectly. It was the car that failed.
I think he did about 4 or 5 winches to get that out of strife down there.
I was driving along thinking, how good's this? This is just right. Everything was going great.
Got a little bit further up the road and noticed a tree had fallen over, probably the normal path that most people would take.
There was a track around to the right-hand side that went around the root system, and then the entry back onto the track was super sketchy.
After you entered, you hit this washed out section. That was the second obstacle along the track.
I don't know. Just go back. We just go back. Oh, I've admitted now.
The old Iveco was a bit like the Titanic trying to turn around the docks.
It looks like it's teetering on 2 wheels.
That's a whole lot of messed up in there.
I had a little bit of 3-wheel motion going on in the Raptor. I think it thought that it was from Compton or something like that. It was like wheel up in the air and all that sort of gear.
Was it high?
It's not even that high, is it?
That's still cool. You'll have to send me the photo.
Oh, wow, this is a great hill climb. Others did a 3-point turn, I just went round to 1. One take there, no problem. What happens when you pick a vehicle up? The CV shafts come up as well. If they become too great, you get accelerated wear on the CV joints. What we've done with the RoadSafe D-Max diff drop kit, this is actually a cross-member piece that drops and relocates the diff into the correct position. There's also a tail shaft spacer so that it put the tail shaft back into the same position as what it was inserting into the diff. You'd find it from any RoadSafe dealer or distributor, pretty much any 4-wheel drive store, you're going to be able to get them.
We went through a couple of little tight sections, nice and slow, and then we got to this long, steep section of the track.
There wasn't really an easy line or a hard line. All the different options were super difficult, and because it's been raining recently, it was really, really wet and greasy.
The camera car ahead of us yelled out that they'd actually had issues here. Not a chance in hell that they were getting up. They ended up backing back down and pulled off to the side of the track to let us through.
You really need momentum. It doesn't matter if you've got mud tyres, all-terrains, whatever it is, you're just going to have no grip. The best course of action is to give it a little bit of right boot. We very quickly found ourselves in utter carnage. There were rocks flying everywhere, there was grease, there was mud, it was epic.
Sideways. Woo!
This is part of the interview normally where I would say, of all the cars, only Leeroy was the one that was able to make it up in one go. Not even he could do that. Well, I really struggled to get him up and over one of the really greasy rock ledges at the top of the hill.
A few sections there where we lost a bit of traction, but momentum was definitely our friend. Got up probably about 80% of the way and pulled over with new tracks.
Pete was into it pretty hard. Just as a precaution, I actually backed back down the hill a fair bit just to make sure that I didn't have to purchase a new windscreen tomorrow morning.
Like I said, momentum is key on this track, and Pete was a perfect example of what happens when you lose that momentum.
Unfortunately, the road safe D-Max did come unstuck about halfway up.
Who separates the men from the boys?
Is your diff lock on?
Everyone kept saying, have you got your diff lock on? I go, yes. Oh, no. I go, hang on, I know I turned that on.
Right, stop there, Pete. You might get going there.
Yeah, as soon as I get there, it unlocks.
The new track boys had to pull the patrol back to give it a bit of a winch.
So I ran my winch out to the back of his car and used him as an anchor to pull myself up. It's a good boat anchor.
Pretty steep little track this one. Really sneaks up on you.
It's definitely rained, which have changed the conditions massively from when they did the scout run out here.
It doesn't matter if you've got mud tyres, all-terrains, whatever it is, you put your tyre pressures down, you're just going to have no grip. So the best course of action is to give it a little bit of right boot.
As Simon said, give it a bit more throttle. Simon had actually pulled across to the side where the camera car was to assist the camera car at the end by dragging it up.
As if this track wasn't bad enough, we've got the Colorado 7 hooked up behind us. We are dragging the poor thing up this hill.
It was like dragging up a wild pig after you just went hunting. Screaming and writhing all over the place. It was crazy.
You could have thrown a boat anchor over the back and it probably would have done a better job of getting up that hill.
I think the drama is over, and all of a sudden we just hear this whoosh, 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 and we realise the Iveco has a huge gash in the sidewall, and we've got to fix this now. We're all sitting around depressed, wondering what we're going to do about this tyre, but luckily Honey jumps on the scene with an amazing array of sweet treats from Kemp's Bakery.
I ate way too many of those, so got a diet for the next couple of days, I think.
With the Kemp's Bakery treats hitting the spot for afternoon tea, somebody still wanted to talk shop.
We've just released a brand new set of driving lights, the EX2 range. They're an awesome value for money driving light, 7-year warranty, ultra easy installation, harness-free technology. Simply patch in the high beam wire, add a fuse directly to the battery, stealth black lens protectors, and also interchangeable trims. You get 2 electric blue and 2 slate grey. Other trims are available online. So guys, check out the brand new EX2 driving lights. We've just released them, they're fantastic. We'd planned to do so much more today, but unfortunately due to the conditions, we spent a whole day pretty much on one track.
So as most of you know, the sidewall's gone, and for safety reasons, that tyre is dead. It's a goner. But in emergency situations like this, we can plug the sidewall up, fingers crossed, we can get ourselves going. As soon as we're out of here, we'll get this fixed properly, which means throwing that tyre away and getting a new one put on.
On the way out on this exit track, the exit track,
The new track boys did fail to mention that there was a nice little rock step for us to get down.
On the brakes, and it's just sliding straight through the clay. It's crazy.
The new track boys put us on a pretty good line down there. Minimal damage, just sort of scraped along the side.
Last minute, Michael tried to go to the chicken track. Unfortunately, he'd probably gone too far down to go to the chicken track.
Going down a steep incline, especially when you don't have four-wheel drive, because remember, he's got 2 broken CVs. You really need to just commit to going dead on. I've never seen Simon so serious. Normally he's Mr. Cool, but his face told a story because he thought that he was about to lose a carload full of cameramen.
So a few guys on the backside to try and hold it down, and filled up the rut with some rocks to try and make it a bit safer.
With buttholes puckered, inched the car bit by bit until we were able to get ourselves in a safe angle to then continue down the mountain.
A fantastic end to the day was the scenery on the way out of here, just like on the way in. But it's a great way to end the day, and obviously lets you sort of de-stress a bit and relax before you hit back on the road.
It's been fantastic. Nice to meet Blake from Tough Dog, have him on board as well.
I really am blessed to be able to come out and go four-wheel driving.
It's always a good day to come out with the 4Wheel Drive TV crew and Simon. Looking forward to the next adventure.